Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and in this case talking about the gun you should be getting and probably focusing on if you already have it when it comes to social collapse, especially for the socialist variety of collapse. Now, you guys are aware of the topic. We've been talking about this with Matt Bracking for some time now during weekends, and you're seeing it yourselves. I'm not telling anything you don't know already, but other countries have gone down this same path, so it's kind of a thing that we know how it ends up happening. I've written about this in my first book, the one over there, The Modern Survival Manual, Surviving the Economic Collapse, based on my experience in Argentina. One of the things that I guess surprised people the most was that I insisted a lot on your handgun. That is your main gun as a survivalist, as a prepper, as someone that just wants to stay safe when everything starts getting dangerous out there. It is a handgun. You have to be very good with it. You have to carry it whenever legally possible for you to do so, but it is a thing that's gonna be with you when you need it. It's just like that. And that's one of the things that I guess a lot of people found either refreshing or upsetting because they didn't like it. No, I'm gonna be having my AR. This is the gun that I shoot best with. It's more accurate, it's more powerful. Sure, but you're not gonna be able to have it with you at all times, and that is an important factor. Now, if you wanna have a bunch of guns, by all means, I'm the last person that's gonna be saying otherwise. Get yourself as much guns as you want. I'm perfectly fine with that. But keep in mind, there's new people getting into this all the time, and they're looking at, okay, I'm going to be asking in the gun store, sure, should I get a shotgun? Yes, a shotgun for home defense. That makes perfect sense. I'm getting myself a shotgun. I'm getting myself an AR or whatever. And they just don't focus on maybe the gun they should be concentrating the most. Even when you have a bunch of different guns, your funds are limited, your time is limited. These days, even ammunition is quite expensive. So it makes a lot of sense to know what is it that you should be focusing on. And it just comes down to the same thing. This is the gun you're going to be having when you need it. Now, if you can get a couple guns, my advice is get yourself a handgun, a decent one, and get yourself a rifle. That may be an AR, AK platform, whatever it is that is popular wherever you live. For you guys in the United States, likely that's going to be an AR. Is there anything wrong with a shotgun? Of course not. They're fantastic guns. And for a social collapse, especially when you see new gun bans being introduced, there's a good chance that shotguns will be the last ones to be banned. And I'm not going to be getting into the whole, well, come and get them. Sure, that's all perfectly fine. But the truth is that in places where there's lots of restrictions, that is usually the last gun to get banned. So the shotgun has that going for it. So keep that in mind. Also, it's a very versatile type of firearm. You're shooting different type of cartridges, as you guys know. But this thing, the gun, I was just watching on Gunbroker, guys. A P7, not unlike this one. In fact, a lot more beaten to crap than this one, in a much more worn condition. Just sold, just minutes ago sold for $1,500. $1,500 US. And sure, you're going to be telling me, yes, this is more of a collector's item, or yeah, but you know what? It is still a handy little 9mm pistol that is super accurate, probably one of the most accurate handguns that you'll ever come across, and it's super safe, and pretty much a lot of people consider it the ideal carry gun, even though it's a little bit expensive, sure, a little bit heavier compared to some of the plastic polymer ones, but it is a thin profile. It carries beautifully, super short slide and barrel. This would be perfect for guys that love appendix carry. This has almost the minimal amount of length that you could hope for in a big bore pistol. So this is the kind of thing that you're going to be able to have with you, and having not just my own experience based on what I've seen in my country and what I've seen other people go through there as well, but also doing a lot of research, which is something I do all the time. I've been doing this for many years. You learn that people appreciate handguns even more so than rifles and long guns. in whatever kind of country they are in, where there's either civil war, where there's conflict ongoing, pretty much all across the Middle East, you're going to be getting a Glock pistol. It's going to be costing you maybe $500, $1,000 easily. It's usually 2 or 3 times more expensive than an AK. That's kind of like the standard of the price measurement or the price standards in places like Middle East. The handgun, or a quality handgun especially, something like a Glock, man, that is, that is a status symbol even. But what is it about it? That you can carry it concealed. You can have it with you without being with the AK, sling in your shoulder. You're just going to be having it whenever you need it. It's not going to be there. Keep in mind, you may find yourself in positions in these places, in these countries. Some of these folks are dealing with foreign forces, or they've got invaded by one country or by one militia or one faction or whatever it is, and they have to just go by unnoticed as much as they can, and only as a last resort they're going to be using the firearm. That is the kind of thing where this comes into place. And it's not that far-fetched to see a scenario where, either because of your political ideology, these days, man, even because of the color of your skin, you're being just marked and judged, which is crazy given that we're supposed to be past that. But it's amazing that now you are being judged not by your character, but by the color of your skin, and apparently by your gender as well. So this is the kind of thing you're having to think about in your preparedness when it comes to self-defense. If you have your AR in your house, someone breaks in and you manage to reach it, that's fantastic. But even in situations where you're forced to bug out, and maybe you cannot do that with a visible handgun, some of the folks that left in Ukraine, leaving eastern Ukraine when the Russians were invading, those guys, some of them tried to conceal their guns, some of them broke down double-barrel shotguns and tried to hit him among the luggage. Sometimes they were going through checkpoints, and if they found anything, they could get in trouble. Sometimes they got lucky, sometimes they didn't. But what it comes down to is, the more compact the gun, the better it is. The more easy it is to conceal, that makes a big difference. While at the same time, last resort, you have something to defend yourself. Okay, so even places like Venezuela right now. In Venezuela, it's pretty much just banned for the average law-abiding guy. It is banned for you to have any type of gun. There's different versions of that. Some people will tell you that depending where you are, you can get some arrangement. But when it comes down to it, criminals, convicts, are out of jail armed with AK-47s and fully automatic rifles, and put on the street doing their patriotic duty of getting rid of anyone that represents any kind of opposition. But you have to go, gray man. You have to stay below radar and not be noticed. So you're not going to be walking around Caracas with your AR. And you may not live in Caracas, but if you're preparing for that sort of thing, you have to think that way. You have to consider the possibility of something like this happening. So have as many guns as you want. I'm the last person that's going to be telling you otherwise, but think about what guns you're going to be buying, in what order of preference, being objective about it. Go with your handgun, go with your Glock. If you want to go with a revolver, still a fantastic gun. It's versatile in terms of the ammunition. Usually, if you can get a Glock 9mm, that's kind of the go-to pistol. Like the McDonald's version of a burger in terms of a pistol. That it's reliable, it just gets the job done. Yes, but something that is good, something that you can trust, is something like the P7 that doesn't have a lot of capacity. I mean, I have a P7 M13, which has double stack magazines. The beauty about this sort of thing is that it's super accurate. So whatever amount of shooting you have to do with that thing, you're gonna be like a laser. It's the most accurate gun in the hands of most people because of the trigger, because of a bunch of different things. But basically, you just want to get that and train accordingly as well. You can get a second gun. You get yourself your AR, your AK, whatever. Okay, folks. Remember that if you're interested in the slightest in this kind of philosophy, this kind of of mental exercise. I covered a lot of that in my first book. If you want to go more for the practical, short note skill type of things, as to just know how to protect yourself and the different skills you want to keep in mind for street survival, being safe out there and avoiding many times having to use this at all. Street Survival Skills is the book I wrote specifically for that. Both links are going to be there below. Folks, it's going to be all. See you in our next video. Have an awesome day. Take care.